Hello, Recre7 and welcome back to Combat Mission Cold War. So I'm excited to be jumping back in to another one, and this time we're going to be looking at the Killing Time at Kirtof scenario, which is recommended to play as blue against the AI, so that's exactly what we're going to be doing. So this scenario is it's an American defense of a Russian attack. Actually in Warsaw it's not just a defense, it's a delaying tactic. So it's the 2nd Battalion from the 298 Motor Rifle Regiment is essentially trying to punch down this road towards Kirtof, and you can see the outskirts of the town just here. And our job as American defenders is to not necessarily stop them but delay them. So we've got an hour on the clock and we need to do as much damage as we can, prevent as many of them getting to Kirtof as we can, and importantly get out with our lives, which is interesting and slightly different in that there's quite a penalty for if we lose our units. So we've got to maintain, I think it's 40% of our strength. Let me just check that in the old briefing. Maintain 60% of our strength. So make sure we lose no more than 40% of it. And of course, stop the Soviets from getting off the map. So, what forces have we got to play with? Okay, so on our side we have two infantry platoons, fairly bog standard, with their M113s. Dragon teams and some of the law rocket anti-tank devices, and we also have a number of foxholes to put them in. We'll have a closer look in a moment. In addition, supporting that, we have 5 M60A3s, not with the thermal tank sight upgrades, but still a pretty good piece of kit. We also have a number of tow vehicles, so we start with 2 M901s, which come with the the task force, and then they've got a second attachment of a further 3, which you won't be able to see because they're spread out. So there's 5 M901s altogether, and then lastly we've got a couple of anti-air assets. We've got where did I put them in the end? Oh, we're all the way over here. Go have a look at that. No, that's not you. That's you. There we go. So we've got an M163, and then we've got a guy with a Stinger as well, so a little bit of anti-air thrown in. In terms of off-map support, we've got a little bit to play with. A mortar, 4.2-inch mortar, as well as a batch of 155mm howitzers. Nothing to sniff at. So that's the kind of force we've got. Let's have a quick look at this map. So it's fairly open. There is a whole bunch of trees up this left hand side which don't appear until I zoom in a little bit, and there's a big kind of open plateau in the middle, which is what we're going to try and getting the Soviets to go into. They're obviously going to appear on the kind of eastern edge of the map, and their objective is to push out to the west. We have 2 exits available to us, so we've got one on the side, we can duck troops out, and then we can also duck our troops out this exit as well if we decide we want to get out of dodge. So how have I set ourselves up? So in terms of routes to Kirtof itself, there's obviously open over the plain, which is pretty good kind of tank country, although it's not a huge number of tanks we're facing. So we're against a Motor Rifle Regiment, so we're expecting a fair number of BMP's infantry, and likely supported by a reasonable number of tanks, but it's not like it's a purely armoured division we're facing. And certainly over the plateau is the easiest way for them to get there. However, it's very open, so there's no guarantee they're going to do that. The road itself obviously winds round the side of this hill, through this little town, and then down towards Kirtof. And then on the other side you've got a there's some tracks. I suppose there's a bit of a road, as well as this river. So there was a few options in terms of how I was going to set myself up. The first thing to do is we do have quite a large deployment zone, so we could have been very, very forward. We could have taken everything up to the very edge of this hill. If I zoom way over, we could have set our infantry all the way along this tree line, tried to get all our toes pushed up and supporting over here, and really try and pen the Russians in their deployment zone, which was possible, but I felt there was a risk in terms of being overly aggressive, as well as taking a frontal attack. Really, especially in terms of Soviet armour, where I can get the best bang for the buck, is if I can kind of Also get them side on and kind of get them some interesting angles rather than just engage it front on, as I'm expecting to be fairly heavily outnumbered. So I've set myself up as a bit of a essentially open up the plane to them, and I've created this hard point on this hill, and it's kind of got two parts to it. So first is I've got a reverse slope defense utilizing my infantry. So we come down to their positions. So they're all in. Here we go. They're all in foxholes, just other side of this ridge. Reasonable clear space in front of them. So hopefully anything comes over the top. Infantry, obviously they can mow down with small arms. BMPs turn up. They've got their anti-tank weaponry. Start getting a large number of tanks through here. That's a little more dodgy. And certainly an area we could struggle if they pushed a lot of forces over the top of this ridge. But certainly in a kind of an infantry push, these guys are set here to deal with that. So that kind of prevents the Soviets coming over the top here. If and then they push round to this side, and then kind of make a break down towards Kirtof, we've set ourselves up so that our a couple of tanks supported by some tows here have got good views onto the reverse side of this plateau. So again, hopefully as they come trundling forward, we can get shots on the side, or if they push much further on, we can almost get shots in the rear. Now, obviously, once they know we're here, they're going to turn in faces. But the idea is we've created this hard point that they can't ignore on the way to the objective. So we're going to have to deal with it, and hopefully those will give us some favourable engagement angles. So yeah, as I said, we've got one whole infantry platoon set up over here. We've also got an FO. Again, he is set up not so much examining the initial direction of the forces, but make sure he's got a reasonable view over this plateau as and when they push forward. We've then got 2 out of our 5 tanks, and we've got 2 out of our 5 tows as well. I've also dumped back here just some of the headquarters units with their M113s, partly just keep them out of harm's way. Also, if they try and do an infantry push through a town, it does give us a little bit of response, but they're not going to stand up to too much. Similarly with the M163, which I can't remember off the top of my head what this name of this vehicle is. Actually, do you know what? Give me one moment. Okay, so it's just the Vulcan named after its gun. That's not very original, but there we go. It works. With the Vulcan here, again, obviously preventing air cover, but also, if we're really starting to worry about infantry creeping through the town, we could, turn around and put these 20mm cannons onto infantry. So that's the idea behind this kind of hard point. So that's one of them. Supplementing that, we've got our second infantry platoon, who have a not quite the same but a similar approach on the very end of the plateau, where again we've set up in this reverse slope defence. If I just come down to one of the foxholes, so you can see you can kind of come to the edge of the plateau and it dips down towards Kirtof. So these guys are set up that if they just do a bit of a mad dash for it, again as they come over the ridge, we've got some nice close range anti-vehicle weaponry, hopefully take out anything that comes this way. Also, the intent of these guys being on the very end of this plateau is to act as a bit of a speed bump. Hopefully stall them long enough to keep them on a plateau such they can take fire from either our forces kind of surviving near Oberglen, or from these 2 M63s that we've got set up on this flank, which are really just kind of in a bit of a holding position right now. The intent being that once, if the Soviets do make a big push down towards here, or to be honest, if they get stalled out only over again, these guys can then pop up and put some rounds hopefully in, again at some advantageous angles. And you see again they're protected in this kind of gully for just now. So that's kind of a main. Our forces supporting that. Well, let's talk about these guys first. So we've got 2 of our 5 tows are set up on this hill back here. This guy is fairly brazenly open, but we've got a good advantage of range here. Now, if they start springing forward a whole load of BMPs with ATGMs, it's definitely a risk he can get swamped on his own. But I thought it was good commanding position of the plateau, so I'll put him in it. And he is supported, albeit at a slight difference, by his compatriot over here, who has a not a perfect view of the plateau, but he's kind of looking down this left side plus this gully. So that's the vast majority of forces. I did decide to leave a few forward elements. So we've got one FO team, and that's primarily just I want to see information from their deployment, find out where they're going, what the routes are, so I can then kind of tweak my defence to suit. But I also have left one of the toes up here, and I'm not expecting this to be a kind of a long-term position, but if I can take out a vehicle, maybe two if I'm feeling greedy, and then pull him back, I'll be pretty happy. And likewise, I'm supporting him with the last one of the MCT3s. And two rules here. One, if you do make a strong armoured push through the forest, then we've got some resistance. The other one is actually, this is quite a nice little kind of avenue shot onto the plateau. Now it might be if they absolutely book it along here that he doesn't get enough time to kind of get on target and fire his weapon off, but then he can also come down to the tree line and engage him in the rear. So I quite like it as a potential keyhole. In support, we've got this headquarters unit for the anti-tank platoon, really just to provide a bit of resistance if we're starting to see kind of infantry pushes through this wood, which is something I'm concerned about, and certainly one of the weaknesses I will talk about. And okay, so round things off, on our side we've got 3 TRPs. Actually, we have... Hi, are you over there? Okay, I don't want to target this one amongst my own troops, so I'll move that one in a minute. So we've got one who is set up, you see, on the far side of this hill here, on this woods. I'm adding, if we do start seeing some Soviets come up top, just drop some rounds on that. The second one, in fact I'll come back to that one because I'm least confident about that. The second one we've got down in this gully, so it is restricted to this middle area. And that's because this is a weak point in our defence. It's protected from a lot of angles, so I want to be able to drop some artillery in here if we do start seeing a Soviet push down this side of things. The one in the centre, I will admit I struggled with a little bit, because I don't know where on this plateau, if anywhere, they're really going to stop and set up. And I may have opted for in and around these buildings where we might get a bit of an early contact. But yeah, just with engagement ranges and the kind of quickness of vehicles and the like, I wasn't entirely sure where the best place for that one to be, so it was a little bit of humming and hawing before I opted for there. And this Brucey bonus one, which I clearly didn't miss, honest. Actually, do you know what I'm going to do with him? I'm going to set him just on the edge of town, just in case. Let's even move it in a little bit. Just in case they do decide to try and drop off some infantry here, that'd be good to stall them from kind of getting into the back of our position. And that is about it. Oh no, we've got one more spotter over here who's just got another angle of this plateau. So we've got kind of 3 spotters kind of triangulating. And so that's the plan. So weaknesses with our plan. Okay, so things which concern me. First of all, if there's a concerted push on our right flank, just if they massed up their entire rifle regiment, division, battalion, whatever it's called, and just marched over this hill, okay, we're gonna make them bloody, but we're not gonna be able to stop them. And our toes really aren't going to get in use here because of the angles and the cover, so I'm concerned that they could do a lot of damage to us, and although we would inflict a reasonable amount of casualties on them, I think they would be able to bring overwhelming firepower and give us a bit of a bad day and not give us the kind of kill to death ratio that we really want to stop them. So that's kind of concern number one. I don't think it's particularly likely. I think it'd be unusual if they'd right off the bat decided to commit all their troops over the top. Concern number 2, and this one perhaps is a little bit more likely, is similar but a push down this what's this? Northern flank. And down this road. So we've got obviously a few troops here, there's a bit of a speed bump, but there is a lot of dense cover. And realistically they could push kind of quite far down without us getting much in the way of eyes on them. And that's one reason, so we've got this TRP to really try and dump a whole load of artillery on and give them a bit of a bad day. If we were really going for this, then we could certainly swing our defence round to try and put a bit of a block before the road exit here, and it would really restrict their avenue of attack. So there's a potential response to it, but it does nullify a large portion of my kind of hard point over near Oberglen, just with the way that the terrain goes. They can kind of sneak down. But again, with the time allowance and with the delaying forces, I think we could probably cause them enough trouble that we wouldn't get significant forces all the way through, but they could certainly wipe out my advanced elements relatively easily. And concern number 3, and this is, I suppose, a bit of a risk I've had to accept. Obviously, one of my objectives is to keep casualties less than 40%. Now, I'm set up my little hard point over near Oberglen. There is no easy way of retreat for these troops. My kind of retreat points, as you can see, on the north side and the west side, they ain't getting to them. So really, it's going to be, I need to kind of hold and protect this, or potentially kind of, you know, feeling the heat, hide my troops in amongst these buildings and hope they don't get swept out. I mean, some of the vehicles might be able to make a quick dart kind of down along this road through cover, but it's not great. There's no easy route out. These guys, ideally, are going to cause some trouble and then book it through the woods and rejoin the forces at the back. But too much heat, they can just duck out, and that's okay. And likewise, if we're just getting swamped here, there's some elements we can just try and pull out. But I don't want to do that. I'm hopefully going to cause them enough of the concern they just give up. And there you go. So that is the strategy. We've got 60 minutes on the clock. We are not allowed to ask for a ceasefire early because that doesn't make sense. We're trying to hold them for an hour. And we are going to see how it goes. I haven't got any artillery set up at the moment. What am I calling times like? 9, 9, 9, 10. Yeah, it's not too bad. I'm tempted to wait and see where they're going to be before I start calling these. I've got a reasonable number of spotters as well. Although what I could do, actually, is I could start just by dropping a whole bunch of smoke somewhere. Does that make sense for me? Nah, probably not. Alright, I'm just going to leave it. I'm not calling anything in advance. I don't know whereabouts in this open field they're going to go. There's not... The only thing, actually, I could do, and now I'm thinking it loud on camera, which is never a good idea, is I could do something kind of aerial denial stuff. So like I said, I'm worried about the weak points over here, so I could just do something, you know, kind of like this. That was a misclick. You know, just do that and say, hey, I want you just to drop rounds there forever. Just to say, so the Soviets get that, don't come in this direction. And I think that's not a terrible plan. Right, let's do that. Let's grab, yeah, just a mortars is fine. I'm just going to do an area target. Yeah, something like this. Want it slightly bigger. What's that? It's 500 meters. It covers that tree line as well. I'm going to bring it slightly further forward. Risky, I know. And again, slightly further forward. I tell you what, I'll faff around. I'll come back when I've done it. Alright, I did a lot of humming and hawing there. And in the end, I've opted for this, which I'm not sure how effective it's going to be. It's only 2 tubes of mortars as well, but I've set them on a light target just for all the ammo, and all I really want is to do enough to convince the AI, don't come this way, come around. I'll take it from there. But potentially it might just ignore me and charge through it. You know, if I all of a sudden have a couple of BMPs on the edge of this wood unloading their infantry, I'm not actually in a great place, and I might probably just have to try and evacuate these guys rather than put up a resistance. I did toy with the idea of actually moving my tank up into the tree line at the edge here, maybe to kind of get some BMPs face on if they're charging at me, but I'm saying it was too much of a risk to have an isolated tank on its own there, so I think we'll just call that good enough, and if we see them coming, I think the FO is just going to make a valiant stand and everyone else is just going to book it out. Right, okay, that's it. Without further ado, let's get things kicked off. So what I'm going to do is I will do my usual cutaway now, and I will bring it back without the lovely blue deployment zones as soon as we get first contact. So apologies for the 20-minute intro, but there's the break sometimes. Alright, I will see you as soon as we see the Ruskies. Okay, we're back, and it has been significantly longer for me than it has been for you guys, because just after I hit go, I realised I'd set the whole blooming thing up in real time, so it's being a total idiot. So I had to come out of that and reset up in turn-based. So we finally got there. Anyway, so then let's see, just kicked off the scenario, and one thing to talk about is you'll see in a minute, the Soviets dropping cluster munitions on this front tree line. And that's our own mortar machine here going off. So, looks like they are going to push something through here probably, but also quite pleased that I didn't set up in that really forward position, as that would be quite upsetting for my infantry. Again, a few of our mortar rounds landing. Again, just trying to dissuade them, but then, to be honest, I don't know how well the AI responds to artillery or if they plough on with their battle barrages. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting that they were kick things off by an artillery barrage there. Anyway, I will duck out until we actually get a formal spot, so see you in a jiff. Alright, and we have our first spots, albeit fairly tentative ones. So, a couple nights down the road, not much has changed. We continue to drop our mortar rounds. They continue to absolutely annihilate this side of the woods with what looks to be cluster munitions. And we've had a spot of some potential. What do we think? Maybe mechanised, maybe tanks. Probably a little bit of both. And yes, what I really don't want them is to barrel a lot of their forces down here, because that's not where we have most of our eyes. So we'll see if they do continue to creep closer, or if they do swing out, which is what we kind of want. Maybe they could just been doing that as you know, scouting denial. Even though we are going to push down here, it's not a bad place. Certainly, if I had guys set up in there, you could have got some better eyes on what's going on here. That is, I suppose, another downside with the strategy I've picked in this kind of inviting the Soviets in. That you do lose some of the eyes up front, because there's a bit of a ridgeline spots that upsets this spotter. I'm not planning on making any changes, so actually we'll keep it live for the first maybe 10 seconds to see if anything resolves itself. I see there's still, hopefully it comes through and my YouTube's pounding away at this forest over here. But we've got good eyes onto the reverse side of this slope, both from our FO and from our TOW, and again no spots of anything actually approaching the forest. Nothing other than these sound contacts. I must say, I don't know how the Soviet force is displayed in terms of when it comes in, if it's going to come in, you know, if it deploys on map, or if it dribs and drabs in some other scenarios. I've not looked at the reverse play for this one, so we'll see. I feel like it's very much a bit of a waiting game at the minute. I'm just going to end up seeing this kind of ridge of BMPs appear here as I wave goodbye to my FO. But no, not to be thus far. Well, okay, to avoid just staring at a map for the next 5 minutes, tell you what, I will throw in a quick cut and come back when there's something worth talking about. Alright, we have our first spot. Came in just at the last couple of seconds of the minute there. We have spotted a lone Soviet tank. I doubt he's going to be alone for long. And if we zoom in, blah, 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 blah. Hello. So this is a T-64B, I believe. Judging, well, I think my rent is for 64s have these bits at the back compared to 72s, and I think the B has the smoke launchers over the A. I'm not the most prolific at IDing vehicles, but that is what I think it is. So, that's been spotted by our FO here. Our AT, actually let me go into command phase so I can actually draw a target line. Oh, he's only got a little bit of spotting there actually. That is a shame. He's got a little bit kind of back. We'll see as perhaps if I can maybe go down so we can see what the unit can see. Oh, I've done myself a little bit of ridgeline there. Should have moved up here a little bit. Ah, okay, that was a sloppy positioning on my part from when I had to redo it all at the start of the swapping from real-time to turn-based. So we may not get a shot off from this chap if he comes up into these ridgelines, but so be it, so be it. Maybe let's stick live and see what else we can spot. Because where there's one Soviet tank, there is bound to be more. He says. They have continued to pound this forest with cluster munitions, but he says as it appears to have stopped. It's annoying that he's just sat himself there. I'm tempted to creep forward with this guy. In fact, that's very well maybe what we do if we don't see anything else. Oh, hello. I think he's on the move. Okay. Unsurprisingly, he's got some friends. Not another tank, but as a Actually, maybe a scout team in here, a headquarters team. Oh, interesting. So they might just be setting up a forward position. I'm surprised that tank's on its own though. Interesting. We do have the ATGMs and the B3Ms, the BPMs, BMPs. I can speak. Question is he going to get a spot? Oh. Oh. Not enough for one to get a shot away, I don't think. Nah. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's click the done button, and I am going to creep him forward and get a shot away and then probably try and run away again. So if we do a hull down, the view of going after this tank. Yeah. I want you to pop up, hit that tank, and then we're going to run away again. I think that would be a lovely use of a turn. Nothing else needs changed or moved at the minute. Everyone else is pretty happy. Looks like they might be setting up in this woods. What I might do actually, let's see, can you see these woods? Given we've got a 10-minute call-in time, no you can't. Can you see these woods? No you can't. Okay, I was going to say given a 10-minute call-in time, it might be worthwhile. You finished, excellent. Setting up an assault on these woods, just so that, and we might not stop here. Okay, we'll just do that. Beautiful. Yeah, let's go for just a medium, I think. Medium. Yeah, that seems reasonable. General, immediate, cool. It's going to take 9 minutes, so if after a couple of minutes we see they've all kind of carried on their merry way, we'll just cancel it. And then something I need to get more in the habit of is calling in earlier artillery, because usually by the time I definitely know where I need to go, it's far too late. Right, let's rock on, see if we can't get ourselves an early ATGM kill. Why are you not moving? What did I do? Well, that's disappointing.
End of mission. Out.
Could have sworn I definitely gave you orders to do that. There goes our early opportunity for inflicting a cheap casualty. Perhaps I set my target too high in this hull down order. Maybe we should have aimed a little bit lower on the hill. So you can see, actually I can see whatever point I clicked on. Okay. Likely what happened. Okay, so you're not going to get an opportunity there. You might get one as we come out the other side. How are you set up for that? Better. You can see all along this ridgeline, or this road. Yes? Yeah, the fence is going to upset you. And you can see into this hill in the back of that. Okay. Alright. In that case, we will just keep you there, and if they come out the other side of the woods... Sorted. You should also be set up to see the front line of the woods. Yeah. Okay, hopefully we'll get a few missiles away. That would have been nice just to inflict casualty before we run away, but... minor errors in play. How are we looking for time? We can go on a little bit more. We'll keep you live for this one. See if they pop their heads up. Although it could be a very dull minute if they just mull around behind the woods. I suspect what they're doing is HQ's getting out, probably set up a kind of forward observatory post in these woods, try and give them a good view over the rest of the map. Because that's not a terrible idea. Alternatively, they could be trying to push a whole bunch over to these woods, since they've now annihilated them with artillery, and think actually we're going to set up in here. Although Oh, no, we're still hitting it with artillery, so that's not what we're doing. I say there's less of a viewpoint there unless you come right down to this ridge line here. Maybe you'll get a decent view across the map. That's a reasonable central location. I probably should have identified that earlier and stuck a TRP on it, but I think we'll do okay. Where is the rest of the Soviet attack though? Yeah, maybe they're coming there. One wonders if I should try and this is where I get into problems, where you try and you sit on defence for too long, you think, well, I shall just tweak my defence a little bit. You think, well, I could just sneak in at one of the tow vehicles up here, try and get a cheeky shot away and then get it back to its position. Which may not be the world's worst decision. I think I'm going to go for it. I'm going to get you. And trundle your way along here, please. Where do I want you? Just up onto... just into around here. Militaries back on, please. Yeah, just into that position. How far back have I got you? So I don't think they're going to, like, storm down this plateau. Probably get you to move quickly rather than all this tappy stuff. In fact, I will do it. I want to change that for quick order. And I can do it as if by magic. Ta-da! Oh, I missed some. I missed loads actually. Silly trees. I tried to do them in the camera. Right, anyway. Okay, we'll get him to quickly come around here. I don't want to expose myself, but it'd be nice if they are sneaking around. We've got a couple of, you know, supporting fields of fire. Again, to be honest, I'd probably look out, just take out a vehicle and then run away. And then go retake its position again, because I don't really want to risk the tow itself. Okay, let's push ourselves, go a couple more minutes, we've got time. I would quite like to see something. Obviously, if you do get infantry to the front here, then there's a chance they'll start to spot my tow vehicles through eagle eyes. Again, still hammering this woods, but no real push towards it yet that I can see. Seems to have set up shop in the middle here. Okay. It's giving me time at least to get my tow around. Who is bogged? Brilliant. Please don't get stuck. You out? You're out. Good man. Alright, that was quiet. No change, let's keep going. I would like to get a little bit of action in this first video. At least see one Soviet vehicle explode, and hopefully no American ones. But I was, yeah, expecting maybe more of them. Here we go. You saw that. I mean, I'm really clutching at straws here. Right. Who on earth saw that? Oh, you did. Please don't fire at it. You're just going to hit a tree. Ah, we did dismount infantry. Okay, so I'm going to be quite happy to hammer this wood with artillery. Should be, I don't know, about 6 or 7 minutes away. I think someone's probably going to have a pot shot at that. And who's it going to be? This guy? Oh, both of them can see. Anyone going to take the shot? There he goes. Congratulations to Mr. Bova. First shot of the match. Now, Mr. Bova, you're going to make it count. Okay. Oh no, because you have just lost sight of them. And your missiles... Oh, you found them again. Can you correct? No, no dust issues as far as behind you, which is a good place for dust to go. Potentially should have reduced their engagement range. We shall see. You might be able to guide it in. Oh, looks like he's correcting there. Oh, and he's lost it again. Oh, we end at the minute. Well, we're going to have to go another one, aren't we, chaps? Let's go. No, we're going to reconnect. Yeah, maybe. Woo. It's entire video's excitement in a single missile. Come on, in the middle of the trees. That's a hard shot, but it's looking good. Go on. Oh! I mean, that's close, isn't it? That's very close. Not bad for, see how far away we are. I don't know, it's going to be a 3k maybe? I can't do it, I'm in the replay mode. I'll check afterwards. Oh! Hang on! All that, and someone else got the kill. Right. Where'd that come from? Oh, helps a hit plate. Ah, this chap. It's our little sneaky boy here. Yeah, there we go. Now we are, obviously, I'd prefer to be taking out tanks or infantry-laden vehicles, but I'll take anything just for just now. There he goes. Has given away his position. I'm okay to hold it for a little bit longer. I'm not feeling threatened, especially with the artillery barrage coming down here. Oh, here we go. This is what we want. Tank stuck in the woods because of an exploded vehicle. Oh, yes, yes. Go on, Grisham. Maybe? Aiming, reloading, firing. Here we go. Oh! Over not to be outdone. Oh, hit. No KO. Let's see if we can get one a better angle. Partial penetration front turret. I mean, it's not quite what we're after, but still, not bad. Okay, let's go back. So we'll see Bova's shot. And credit to him, he made the hit. It's more all you can really ask for. Unfortunately, didn't do the goods. And then we've got a one on the side. Partial. And then the question is, has that rendered that combat ineffective? Quite possibly. Partial penetration in the turret. Definitely could do a job done. Okay, let's jump to command phase. I want to check what your timing was like. 4 minutes still, okay. As much fun as it is, Bova, to take these pot shots, I'm slightly worried about using all your ammo fairly ineffectually. So I'm going to give you a bit of a restriction. Say, please stop shooting at people in these woods. As much as I appreciate the effort. Because it's just not an efficient use of your ATGMs. Not when we've got a chap here who's willing to have a go, this guy's willing to have a go, and we're about to drop a whole bunch of artillery on them, so we'll call that good enough. I think we're going to go 1 more minute, and then we'll call this video done at that point. At least we've got a first engagement, first kill to Americans. As to be expected. Oh yeah, got another one away. See, that's three of his 10 missiles he's used. And I don't, well, we'll see if he hits here. No. So 1 hit out of 3, it's just not enough return. I want him to making more kills with his 10 missiles there. So we'll bring it in a little bit. This guy, I'm happy to kind of let him spend them a little bit. Although woods are always tricky. Uh-oh. Yeah, I do gotta watch. My guys are somewhat exposed here. Really? You got scared of the tank? Now that is interesting. You're in quite a nice position for attacking those woods, but... Hit a tree, and then you decided I've had enough. Okay, I mean, I'll redeploy. Not the end of the world. Do have to watch them. Yeah, again, I want to deny this area for setting up yeah, long-range ATGMs against my fairly exposed guy on the hill back here. I'll have to check your sightlines as well. Oh, might not get any more action this minute, and indeed we do not. Let's, before we call this a day, I just want to double check what your sightlines are like. Pretty terrible. I'll need to move you. Alright, I shall go deal with that, and I'll have to reposition that guy, but all that can wait until next time. So here we go, back in with CMCW, Combat Mission Cold War. Apologies it took a little bit longer, but yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Do leave your thoughts and comments below, and as ever, I will catch you all in the next one. Cheerio!